Most people want to be consistent with fitness, but they think willpower is what makes that happen. The truth, it's not willpower, it's the state you train every time you show up. What most people call mindset is just the surface. The real driver is the state behind your choices. When you train the right state, consistency becomes natural, not something you have to fight every day. Someone recently asked me a great question. What are some foundational beliefs or mindsets for approaching health and fitness in an empowering and constructive way? So today I want to walk you through the 3 simple mindsets I come back to again and again. Because when you shift the state driving your choices, you stop battling yourself and you start building something that actually lasts. Because here's how it really works. Your perception in any moment triggers an emotional state. That state drives the thoughts you think and the actions you choose. So if you want different actions, you don't start at the level of behavior. You start by training the state. One of the biggest patterns I see is people are approaching fitness like punishment. They say, I have to start working out, or I need to fix my body. The nervous system hears that as pressure. And what pressure usually creates is resistance. You might force yourself through a few days, maybe even a few weeks. But if the underlying state is guilt or frustration, the body associates training with pain. So the pattern collapses. Here's the shift. I train because I choose to, not because I have to. This one belief changes everything. Because the moment you shift from have to choose to, you reclaim agency. You're not reacting to old stories. You're training a state of ownership. I worked with someone who had tried dozens of fitness plans. Each time they'd start strong and then drop off. We didn't change the workouts, we changed the state behind them. They began saying out loud before each session, I choose this. I'm building the person I want to become. And their nervous system started linking training with alignment, not shame. The consistency followed naturally because choice is the root of consistency, and consistency is what builds anything. Here's the second mindset. Consistency beats willpower. A lot of people think what they need is more discipline, but discipline isn't something you push. It's something that emerges from the state you train. When you build the right state, showing up stops requiring force. It becomes who you are. Most people get this backwards. They try to push harder instead of showing up steadily. Here's how it really works. Consistency means showing up especially when you don't feel like it. Not ignoring your state, using that moment to train it. Those reps are where transformation happens. Intensity means bringing your full focus, energy, and presence to the reps you do. It's not about going harder, it's about showing up fully engaged. When both are present, your nervous system starts building a new pattern. Effort stops feeling like struggle. It starts feeling like momentum. A common example, someone says they want to work out 4 days a week, but they only show up when they feel motivated. Motivation is just a state, and if you only train when it's there, you're reinforcing inconsistency. Instead, they commit to showing up no matter how they feel and choose to bring full presence when they do. That combination, steady reps plus emotional intensity, builds real change because the nervous system learns through repetition plus energy. And that's all intensity is, focused energy. Consistency wires the pattern, intensity locks it in. The third mindset ties everything together. My body reflects my inner state. Most people reverse this. They think if their body changes, then they'll feel confident, energized, disciplined. But the body is downstream. It reflects the state you train over and over in how you show up. So if you're scattered, tired, frustrated, and you try to push harder, your nervous system links training to stress. That's why it feels like a fight. The shift is subtle but powerful. Use your physical training to practice the state you want your body to reflect. Want more energy? Train showing up with energy. Want more discipline? Train showing up with focus. Want more vitality? Train showing up with passion. You're not waiting for the body to change to feel different. You're training the inner state first and letting the body follow. One client once said, I finally realized I wasn't training my body. I was training who I was being while I trained. That's it. That's the entire shift. If this is landing, hit subscribe. I drop videos each week to help you train your inner world with structure and clarity. Let's talk about one of the most common traps, the all or nothing pattern. It sounds like I missed a workout, now I've blown it, or I had one bad meal, so I might as well start over Monday. This mindset trains collapse. The nervous system starts linking small setbacks with failure. And once failure becomes an identity, the pattern repeats. Here's the reframe. One rep never defines the pattern. The pattern is what you repeat. If you train showing up the next day calmly, without judgment, you're teaching your nervous system resilience. You're showing it that effort doesn't have to be perfect to count. I've seen people build incredible transformations simply because they refused to quit when it got messy. They showed up, not perfectly, just consistently. And over time, that steady presence created more progress than intensity alone ever could. Because results come from who you're becoming, not what you did yesterday. And remember, resistance isn't a sign something's wrong. It's a sign you're at the edge of an old pattern. That edge is exactly where the nervous system learns. So if it feels hard, good. That means you're training. Here's a subtle shift that changes everything. Choose your state before you act. Most people wait to feel motivated before they train. But emotional states don't appear out of nowhere. They're trained. Instead of waiting for motivation, choose the state you want to bring. Say it, feel it, then move from there. Want to train with power? Choose power first. Want to train with calm focus? Choose calm first. That teaches your nervous system that you lead your state, not the other way around. Someone I worked with used to say, I just don't feel like working out. We flipped it. They began saying, I'm going to train focus for 45 minutes. It stopped being about the workout. It became about the inner rep, and the body followed. This is how emotional state becomes the driver instead of the barrier. If you're hearing this and thinking, this sounds like me, you're not broken. You've just been training a pattern that no longer serves, and that can change. The final piece is identity. Every rep is casting a vote for who you're becoming. So if you train from guilt, you reinforce guilt. If you train from certainty, you reinforce certainty. This is the real purpose of health and fitness, not to chase a number, but to train a steady inner foundation you can build anything on. When you approach your health like this, the question shifts from how do I get results fast to who am I committed to becoming and what state do I need to train to get there? That's where the real power is. Because now you're not reacting to circumstances. You're deliberately shaping the nervous system that creates them. And once that's in place, everything changes. Not overnight, but for good. When you practice these three mindsets, choice, consistency, and training your state, fitness finally sticks. Not through force, but through who you're becoming. If you're ready to stop managing symptoms and start training a steady, resilient inner state, I've built a system for that. It integrates perception, emotion, and nervous system, so you don't just understand your patterns, you actually shift them. Links below. I also share practices weekly on Instagram at Mike Wang Coaching. And if you want more depth, you can join the newsletter below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.